4. Okay, we're live. Uh, no, seriously, we are live. Hi guys, this is Thunder from Booredatwork. Just making sure the Q&A is up. Yes, it is up, and please throw your questions in. We're talking about Google I/O. So today,
Boring.
Google spent. Okay, let's put it this way, right, guys? I was traveling, and also I didn't watch the conference live. I had to go back and watch all the stuff. I was watching the World Cup. Nigeria was playing, so you know where my mind was on all matters. But Google announced, made this big announcement in Google I/O. They announced Android L, which is basically the answer to Microsoft in a sense. You know, I mean, you think about it, right? Android L is supposed to encompass all levels from phone to PC and incorporate Android Wear and also Android TV together. That's their almost convergence and continuity aspect to things with Android. Now, Android L brings a couple of new things in there. They also announced Android Wear fully. I mean, well, that was announced before, but they showcased the LG G Watch and the Galaxy, the Samsung Gear Live, and also, of course, the Moto 360. Those two, the first two, the G Watch and the Gear Live, are available for pre-order. Gear Live is $199, G Watch is $299, and Moto 360 is coming out later in the summer.
G Watch $299?
Yeah, $299. So those are available later in the summer, and then also announced Android TV.
Well, the watches are finally on the damn website.
Yeah, they're on the website.
They took a while to show up.
Yeah, they showed up like an hour ago, literally, I would say. So since you paid more attention to it than I did initially, what are your thoughts on Android L? Because that's the main big thing today, Android L. Android L with its new UI. What's the UI interface called again?
Material UI or something.
Yeah, Material. So basically, it's like saying, you know, how basically Material UI is the same thing as how Microsoft has Metro, and how Metro is on everything.
It's just advancing the card UI they've been using for now how long? In Google now, it's just putting it in Android and calling it something. They gave it a name.
Yes, they gave it a name, and they did tweak a few things in there. So what are your thoughts besides the cynicism? You know, we're trying to give some people some information. What are your thoughts on Android L?
I think it's cool. Like any other version of Android, it looks like it's going to be a better stock experience from what it looks like. And the closer to get better to stock, the least amount of skins we'll have to, and forks we'll have to deal with. It's nice that they're including some things that should have been built in a long time ago to it. But it's not. It's the big announcement that I'm not surprised about, because if you've been paying attention long enough with Android, these things, you kind of saw all these things kind of coming and going. Things that they were changing within Chrome, the things they were changing within Google Now, and even some of their products and the UI of their products. These card interfaces and this sort of design was sort of coming across the board, amongst a lot of their products. Google Now is really the big thing that was doing it, and it's kind of always been on there, but you're seeing other ones doing that. And even looking at some things like some of the recent stock versions of Android 4.4 with some of the versions that are available, like on the thinking of the LG G2 and those. If you look at some of the core apps, they look more Google-centric than they did beforehand. They slap a skin on there in 5 seconds. Some leather-bound, weird-looking calendar or something like weird-looking thing, and now it's going more to what a lot of this already looks like. So there's something to me that's probably been in the plan for a long time, and it's kind of already been implemented around, but it looks like they're going to fully push it out, and they gave a name to it. Because beforehand, it was just card UI. They just gave a solid name to what this is. But if you've been paying attention to the App Store, the YouTube app, Google Now, this UI has pretty much been kind of around in certain pieces already. So it's nice, but I'm not going to be excited until we get past L. Like, it's getting excited for a developer preview of Android. I'm just not the most excited about that. It's not like getting excited for OS 10, beta, developer preview, or Windows developer preview. We have a much fuller, richer operating system that can do many more things. This, on the other hand, is that we're getting the latest flavor of something that we're already used to, and it's more of a UI change more than anything else that's kind of happening with it.
Well, they do claim it's not. It's more than that. Oh, 1 second, Lou Rod. I do apologize, guys. I set up the Hangout for today, and it says tomorrow's date. So sorry. It's Google now. It's, Google whatever, Google Plus.
Maybe they'll fix it in Android L.
Yeah. So, well, they said it's more than just a UI change or skin. Number one, now the art file format basically covers the whole thing, and it's 64-bit compliant. So basically, now you can now start using 64-bit processors, which I mean, until you have 64-bit applications, that's another thing entirely. But it sets the precedent for that, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing on there. The other thing too with Android L is that it brings in native battery saving, not just the clicking off of applications. So it does. I think from what they explain, it does it in a sense how Windows 8.1 battery saver, where you can really check in and check out and close everything. The way they talked about battery saver in this is that you can now actually go in and shut off everything running in the background, because in Android that's a very hard thing to do.
So everything that the OEMs were already doing and had to add on, they just decided to give you a built-in version of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not impressed by that, because that's them adopting something that they should have already had, not waiting for their manufacturers to make things in for them just to bring it on at later after the fact. I want them to innovate a little bit more, but I think the battery, was it called a battery historian or something like that, where it tracks the battery life, and I think it can
adjust the whole process. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just those kind of things in there. You also have the fact that with Android L, we all know the UI skin changes from the dial and all those different things. It's supposed to be a much richer experience. For me, with UI changes, I'm one of those people where, and some people call me Windows fanboy, is that the reason why I like Metro, because Metro was that shift. What we're seeing, I'm not discounting Google, I'm just saying what we're seeing is more refinements, and like you said, it's just taking something they've already started doing on different areas of the system and bringing it into as a whole for the whole.
They're just calling it something that they were already headed in this space. Like, it was already kind of there in front of you. Now they just give you a marketing term to put behind it that they can push the developers to take that and make their apps, or use their apps and make those things sort of happen. Android L is like, until I hear, lemon pie or some type of cool name when it's coming out, not just a preview of it, I'll be a little more excited about it, because this was very much kind of telling developers these are the things that are piecing together, and the biggest announcement that kind of came out of that was the material, UI. Everything else is kind of like, we improved battery life, and we've added a couple little things here and there. Not we're not hearing like what's the newest version of Android and what are the big things, like when we heard with KitKat and when we heard with Jelly Bean and Ice Cream Sandwich, we get those big announcements and those big things that they changed and added, and we know when it was coming out and when it was going to kind of be done. This is just kind of like, here, we'll tell you a couple cool things and then wait and see, because it's just a preview. It's not even a beta yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's kind of hard to get excited for them following the pace of Microsoft and Google in terms of how they announce their operating systems now.
Microsoft, I mean Apple. That's the question I want to bring up in Android L here, right? Because the other aspect of Android L and what it does is now they've done two things here. They've taken some of Microsoft's approach. Microsoft is basically its unification, right?
Yeah.
UI is the same everywhere. So they've said that is the same when you're going from technically wearables all the way to tablets. Mm-hmm. But then on their Chrome, because he came out of a press conference and said we have two powerful OSs. We have one. Let's just be honest.
I think I'm going to say to this, and I'm going to let you finish it, but I already said the chat.
Yeah. So we have two powerful OSs. One is Android. That's very true. The other one is Chrome. And what they've done is now in Chrome, Android applications will now be running in Chrome. Duh, that's it took them long enough. To me, it should have been that a long time ago. And two, the thing that Apple introduced with the continuity of you know continue your work from your iPhone onto your MacBook.
Yep.
They're doing that too. You can answer phone calls and all those kind of things are coming into with this. So they're taking little pieces here. Now, my question before you go on your little Chrome thing, I know you want to mention that, but my question here is this the right approach for Google? Because with even with Apple, like Apple just clearly says, you know what, we're not merging our UIs, right? We're going to have ways where they will talk to each other, and that's it. And Microsoft says, look, we're merging everything. Now they are doing,
They're kind of just giving a name to what they've been doing since forever. They've already kind of had this continuity already between their platforms, between doing something in Android and doing something in one of Google's platforms. They've kind of had this a little bit. I think it's not so much through the Chromebook or Chrome OS platform, but within sort of their apps and their services, these things have kind of existed. It's them just giving sort of a name to it, and sort of now telling people, hey, we do these things, because they never really advertise that they do these things, so they're trying to say we do these things and giving a spin to what they do. Now, the funny thing with Chrome OS, that's supposed to be this powerful operating system. You know what's funny? If you gotta have Android applications running on the Chrome OS, shouldn't Android already have been the most powerful operating system you needed that could have ran on a desktop anyways? Like, I don't understand the point of you keeping Chrome. The second you do that, why would any developer with any brain develop an app for Chrome OS? Why? And then they know when they know it's done. You've officially kind of done what we've all kind of said you should have been doing anyways.
And you're right, they're going to call it Android OS. Android L is going to become the Android OS on all systems, and pretty much it. So yeah, I definitely agree. I hear you. I agree with you. That's the thing here. What I wanted to show the screen is because this is one of the, in terms of new features, you're right. It's been very light on new features. Very light on new features in terms of what features we can expect. We now have the notifications on the lock screen. iOS has had this. This is basically an iOS feature ripoff, if you want to call it, in there. And that is nice, where you can view the notification, double tap in, and go out and all that fun stuff all together. But it's a nice feature. But I remember what Tori said.
What else you said? That you can double click on a notification, it takes you in deeper to the notification itself.
No, I think it takes you deeper, or it takes you into whatever it is, whether it's email.
You've been able to do that now.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, the way he said it just sounded like he kind of said it quickly, so I'm thinking it's either you're just going deeper into it, or at the very most, and then you can clear out. But it reminded me of something Tori said, just like I don't want people seeing my privacy right there in front of me, because basically this puts in a lot of your information on your lock screen, which hopefully there's a way to opt out of it so you don't have your notifications pop up like that.
Well, a lot of times you can change notifications so you don't read out or don't say out exactly what it is.
No. It's not saying out, but see, look at the screen in the middle, right? That center screen, like that. Like imagine you're at a bus stop with a device like, say, the Galaxy Mega or something that big, right? That's something people can just read off right there.
But you'd have to. I'm assuming you still have to swipe down notification tray for that to appear. That's not just gonna pop up on the lock screen.
No, that's lock screen notification. Not if I'm not mistaken, that is lock screen notification. Let me ask Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Is that lock screen notification? If I'm correct?
Yeah, that's the lock screen.
So basically, it will just appear on your lock screen like that.
Yeah, you can swipe away. You can do read later. Like you can mark as read off from the lock screen. It's very similar to iOS 8.
So basically,
God, why does anybody want to do that?
So basically, if I was saying, if I have a giant phone, somebody can read my stuff.
But it's not even that I'm even worried about.
I doubt that's like by default. It's probably. I mean, if people want to utilize that feature they
Well,
can.
I know, I'm
Probably
just
on a per app basis too.
I'm hoping that it's per app, and also it's hopefully you can change it
But
to
the
just
interesting thing is that this already does this already kind of already happened somewhat in certain OEM software anyways. Like Samsung kind of does this with very basic notifications on your lock screen anyways.
yeah.
But like, no, my issue is with this is that I don't know why you need to pop all that information. The whole reason that everybody likes the notification shade is because of you of how much control you have over it, and that it's not obtrusive. That's why Apple copied it, and that's why Microsoft copied it. I don't understand why they want to do something opposite that a lot of users of the other two operating systems don't really like to begin with. You know, the whole notification shade, the whole point of that thing was really you swipe down to see and manage your notifications, and you can leave ones up there you want to leave up there, and you can get rid of the other ones you don't want to, interact with at the time and such, and you can manage it that way. This takes that completely away. This just says
I agree. I agree. It's one of the distinct features about Android that kind of made it like different and stand out from the
that was
rest.
like the number one most requested feature on every other operating system. They wanted that functionality.
True. I agree. Before we continue, Alex, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think about the announcement with Android L today?
What was it? Material design was the emphasis on the keynote, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks better. It looks like a very elegant operating system. My main thing is the 60 frames per second. I mean, if it truly runs like that when it's finalized, that's going to be a very enjoyable experience. Whether people don't like the look of it, I think it looks more universal and unified with the other system.
Oh no,
I actually like it.
Well, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree on that aspect. One of the things we were talking about before you jumped in was that, it's fine that they're unifying their OS look altogether, and they're, and to Warren's point, Warren's like they already were doing this, so he's not surprised and he's not overly thrilled because we've already seen this in changes in YouTube app. We've seen it in, it's a card UI.
Even the Gmail app has changed.
Exactly. So basically, it's the card UI that they've basically adopted and taken, fully across the board. But the thing that maybe we are missing from this is feature sets. The major feature sets they spent time talking about is this, what you're looking at here, the notification on the lock screen, and then the battery saver. That's pretty much what I took from it as major features. So for me, on that aspect of Android L, I wasn't too pleased. I was like, okay, like Warren pointed out, I was like, well, the battery saver thing is something that a lot of OEMs bring in on a deeper level for you, or a lot of applications, right? Rather than what you get in stock Android, or even Android provides itself. And then the notification stuff is something that I don't think Android users really wanted this in the first place.
Yeah,
in my view.
Yeah, one of the emphasis during the keynote was like building Android for scale. I mean, some of the numbers he showed us were kind of amazing. Android has over 1 billion users or active users, and like to build an operating system for 1 billion plus people, adding huge tons of features to like your next top of the line or your version won't be able to run ubiquitously all types of hardware. So what I think they're really trying to do is kind of expand the OS to make it look modern and futuristic, but keep it at a level that really doesn't take a toll on the hardware running it. So maybe that's what he was trying to. He kept on trying to push with scale, and that building like this is basically Android for billions of people. So you really can add top of the line features.
True. I mean, again, like I said, it brings back to my point of, the unification of the operating system to match what Apple and Microsoft is trying to do. And yeah, building for 1 billion people is tough, but then again, it's something like Windows. Windows is for 1 billion people, so
Windows Phone is very like, I mean, some of its features it just got a notification bar.
No. I'm saying Windows, because this announcement was for Android. As basically, when you listen to our press conference, he talked about the 2 big operating systems, Android and Chrome. Chrome is not a big operating system, so we can chuck that theory out the window. Android is, and Android is infiltrating Chrome with Android apps in there. So they're basically now admitting that they have one operating system, and they're trying to use that one operating system to fight the fight against Windows as a whole. And Apple combination of iOS and OS X as a whole. That's what they're trying to do. With this is, are they going to be able to do it effectively, especially with the lack of pure hardware that they own or they can control? I think that's one of the things which is why you see other announcements. They announced Android TV, which I want Warren to chime in on Android TV there for a second. Give us his.
Actually, didn't get a chance to see it, so if you can post it up there.
What do you say?
Actually, didn't get a chance to see it, so if you can post like some of the images, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, so if you can see, that's the controller. You can buy the controller for the Android TV.
Would Mog make the controller for them?
Maybe. But for instance, Razer's.
Wait a minute. That's a Fire TV.
Yeah, it looks like a Fire TV. That's just a demo. Yeah, that's just a demo box for it. Now, this is what it looks like, the UI itself, in some form or fashion. It's got that like panel view.
It looks very familiar.
Yeah.
It looks very scarily familiar, like a couple of other UIs that have already been out.
Yeah, so I mean that's there, and that's they want to make it's the whole idea of making Android scalable on all different platforms. So you have Android TV. Now they did mention with Android TV that next year it's going to be out on or they said all major TV sets, but you notice three people are missing from all their lists, the big ones: Samsung, LG, Vizio.
Yeah, well, LG makes sense. I'm surprised by Samsung.
Samsung is not going to. Samsung has given up on Google on TVs.
No, I'm saying like LG makes sense. They have WebOS, but Samsung really, I mean, their UI is pretty crappy itself. So I don't know. Maybe they're still working. I think they have a better one.
No, I think for Samsung is I think Google is not either providing something worthwhile enough for them to jump in. They are number one in the TV market, so unless there's something in that, and I'm sure they can they can copy and make their own thing that would be decent enough that will cover the gambit. So, and then you have Vizio too. Vizio is I think number 2 or number 3, tied with at least LG. And that's another company that they're not even looking at that market. So, to me, it's interesting.
What's missing is Sony, Samsung, and
no, Sony's in there. It's Samsung, LG, Vizio is missing.
Samsung, LG, and Vizio.
The 3 big ones.
You want to know why? Nobody wants to buy a damn smart TV. Like seriously, why would I buy a smart TV that takes forever to upgrade versus just buying a set-top box that makes anything a smart TV?
My thing is, I don't like the way they implemented it, like creating separate hardware. I wish they would just make a way where this is baked into Android on your mobile device. And
exactly. Thank you. I
imagine this will turn into an app on Android. You click it and
it should. It
probably will.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Alex.
But my big issue with this thing is it's just like, why are they? The partnering with TV makers to make TV versions of these things that are built in are never successful. It doesn't make sense.
No,
it takes forever to upgrade.
It does. I agree.
Developers get pissed because they have to tailor the apps to the specific operating system, to the specific version, to the specific TV. Why not? How about you actually put out the Nexus Q?
No.
Version of that.
Forget Nexus Q. What they need to do is this should have been Android TVs coming out. There are 2 ways to use Android TV: on your phone with this type of specs, right, or with the Chromecast 2. Done. Simple. Case closed. Then you move on. Android TV wherever you go.
Yeah, because then you could just mirror the operating system, and you don't have to rely on the TV's hardware. You have your quad-core processor on your device, so user experience would never be compromised.
They could have easily sold a little black box like Amazon did and did the same thing for like $99.
Yeah. I mean that
people would have probably jumped on it and would have found their apps and such, and it would have been nice and competitive in that space. This is them doing Google TV again.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. The idea of the black box being a Chromecast 2 is because Chromecast sold well, everybody knows it, right? So
yeah, but I also think that's I think that's a different thought process.
Yeah, I
You,
know it is, but
according,
I'm saying is you take the marketing you've gained from that, right, and tell them Chromecast has grown up, and that if you want, you're basically this is what that box provide you, and you just either have the app on your phone because, like you said, this should just be an app on Android,
yeah, it
on
should
on
just
your
be an app on
an app
Android that brings up all the Chromecast compatible applications.
done
Uh,
exactly, and
but
you move on.
I think all they needed to do is curate the apps into one little section. But the problem with that is that all those developers would have to design for a specific application outside of their own current application.
Yeah,
Because
but
now,
but I don't think it's something that's too hard. If they're saying
yeah,
okay,
but that's also having to manage multiple UIs. Not even Google wants to do it. Look like they do with YouTube. Like YouTube looks damn near the same on everything now. They
no,
don't
no, no,
want.
no, true.
They don't want to go
No,
through all that.
no, but even if you're curating it though, I mean, you already curated it for Chromecast as it is right now, so it's the same thing. You just basically you're putting it as one package. That's it.
When is
You're
this
actually not
supposed to
even
come
doing
out?
yeah. Well, they said next year for the TVs. I'm not exactly sure when.
So this will die in like 6 months and nobody will care.
Yeah, so this
So
is
I don't know why they put this out. Like, who cares? No one cares. Like unless you're announcing some hardware to go along with it. It's a reason why that's such a wide open market space too. Because while Apple TV probably is a dominant force in that market, it's only dominant in that space because nobody knows really of the others out there and Apple branding out of it. But I hear plenty of people complain about not really liking Apple TV that much either. Yeah, the Roku that's around is probably the second biggest. It has a good footprint. You have, plenty of other little smaller manufacturers. Amazon coming on with their Fire TV. I don't get why they just didn't do the same thing and literally tell everyone, you want to make your smart TV a smart, you want to make every TV a smart TV? Use this.
yeah, simple.
Boom, it's freaking done. Upgrade your TV. Boom, it's done. It's done.
Yeah, well, let's move on to the next one. So this is Google Auto, basically bringing some auto features, which they should have, and
This I'm actually interested in.
into vehicles, and so this is a screen that shows more in-depth stuff like your windshield wiper fluid, check tire pressure, and all that kind of stuff. That has to be more integrated with the car manufacturer if you get any of this kind of information. So this is not something on the fly. But I mean, certainly it depends on who they partner with. They didn't mention any partnerships of yet. But they're just showing some of the interfaces here, like dialing Andrew, you can call people, and that's the Google Auto app. Play Google Music, things like that on your car, and then select different stations, if you will, that fit that requirement. And it's very basic. It's a very basic, which is good. You don't want it to be too
Let's
crazy.
face facts. I think you need to split a music app and Google Maps, and that's the only two things people are going to care about.
Oh, no, and then it looks like that's what it is. It's basically the music selection you have on your phone mirrors in this way. So if you have iHeartRadio, Google Me, whatever you listen to music as, and then it's navigation, and that's it.
That's good.
So
I wonder are they building? I wonder is this going to be something that has to be very tied in with the car manufacturer? Or is this something you can buy to just by adding a new deck, swapping out your radio deck or swapping out?
It has to be tied. If you're going to get any of those features, like the this kind of stuff here altogether.
I think those things are cool, but I'm thinking more along the lines of being able to get basic things such as your navigation on your screen, your Google Play Music on the screen, phone controls on your screen.
You have to contact the manufacturers, because remember, depends on what base operating system you're running right now. The reason why Apple got an inroad is because Apple was using QNX anyway before that when they were trying to build their car stuff. And the QNX guys are the ones who do a lot of the base car stuff. So it was easy for them to integrate Apple's stuff like immediately because it was almost off the same base platform.
But what I'm thinking is that it's just a way just to add this sort of console into your deck compatible with whatever car model. Obviously, they'd have to make different versions of different car models and stuff like that going down the road to make it compatible with so many different versions. But you could just pick this off the shelf and just have the car guy install it, and
I mean, yeah,
runs
if
up
you're
your
talking about like
phone.
like an installing like a nav, like a like
Yeah,
you go, that's different. But I don't. They didn't mention that. They the way they're
and I
talking
think
about
that's
this is that this is coming because think about it. When you buy a car now, most cars now, most cars are beginning to get backup cameras and stuff. So you already have an
yeah.
LCD and stuff in there.
Hmm.
So what they're looking for is because right now car companies are split between two people for navigation. And it's not Google. Google, it's Nokia.
Yeah, Nokia and Aptec, I believe.
Yeah, Nokia and Navitech, and then some other companies now use Apple for all the other entertainment features inside. So it's that this is what Google's trying to penetrate to say, hey, we have Google Maps that is great, and you a billion people have Android phones, so why not just use this instead? So I think that's the argument here. Any thoughts, Alex?
Um, yeah, I mean, the way they used it on the presentation was pretty much you just have your Android phone, and if your car is compatible, you just plug in the micro USB, and bam, it's there. Again, it's like the same concept they should have used, at least very similar to the TV, where it just pretty much has the own system, and then it just pretty much mirrors it in a different way. So,
Oh, yeah, not to interrupt you, Alex. Just something just popped in my head. You know those little? Why did they make the little monitor things? You know what I'm talking about? The things that you can plug into the car to get all the data, and then they can take that and plug it into the into the mechanic, and you can get all the computer information and statistics about your car off one of those little data.
You still have to partner with that because even those guys pay certain fee to BMW.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if you could get that with some sort of Bluetooth connectivity, you just plug that in, and then you just have the app run on your phone, and then you pretty much get the same functionality right off of the phone.
No, it won't work because it won't display on the thing because that's running QNX. It has to talk to that. That's the thing. It can get that data, and maybe it would just.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's just getting data, that's fine. If the data can then be spliced through whatever connection over to the application itself on the phone, I mean, you literally would almost get the same exact type of not the same exact type of experience, but very similar experience within there. Probably at a little bit of a cheaper cost, and more people would probably take it on.
Yeah, I mean,
this is going to be just like with the AirPlay. It's going to be like certain people are going to get it, certain people aren't going to get it. It's going to take years upon years to adapt, and we'll be hearing about another version of this that's supposed to be brand new and shiny a little bit later, and it's like the same. It's just I want something like this to hit the masses in an effective way.
It won't unless they mention some partnerships. They didn't mention any, so to me I go, nice effort, no partnerships in there.
But like if you could get I forgot what the little meter reader thing is, but if you could get those things that because insurance companies always talk about those things. I think Progressive even has one of them. Like those little dongles out there, you can make some partnership with it because that's pretty much for the most part universal between cars, and obviously each manufacturer has a specific spec, but you can work with, say, we partner with this, and this particular dongle works with this set of cars, this micro model of cars. Someone can just go to the store and spend $50 or $100. They buy it, it plugs in, and it connects and configures with your phone or whatever app on the phone.
Yeah, no, I mean, like to get you can probably get the data and display it on your device. You will not be able to display it on your display on your.
That would be the nice thing to do. But I'm thinking about more along the lines of what would get people to probably want to transition to having it on the dashboard.
It's very simple. If you partnered with these companies, the reason why I say that is that I've seen the Apple one in work, and I've gone with a friend when they went to buy cars that because that's the proposition here is that they want to have that partnership so that when you buy a car to know that the thing is this is that if they had gone in, if they had gone in and said Android is with 1 billion people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who sells the most cars? Toyota. Right?
Right?
Number 2 is GM. Number 3, I think, is VW. Number 4 is Honda. You either get Toyota or even if you go to Honda, just Honda alone, because Honda is the car for the masses, right?
Mm-hmm.
those cars that are in the mid-range, you don't have to go partner with a BMW or Mercedes or anybody like
Just
that.
get a Corolla specifically.
You know, yeah, you go and you show that, look, you know what, the car that people, look, Android is for everybody. This is everybody car, right? And this is the everybody car that now has what? Android built in. So whenever you buy your Toyota or your Honda, it's already there. That's the thing, consumers want that it's already there. So they can go, okay, cool, I'm connecting, I'm done. Bluetooth, sync.
Yeah, but I think the problem with the wall behind that is the fact that you got to get a new car. The biggest wall behind that is you got to go get a new car.
Yeah, but there's no way around it because car manufacturers like it that way. There's no way beating it because they
I mean but that's why this stuff never takes off the way it should. Think about the real reason that navigation took off in cars is because it got so damn cheap they could push it down to the cheaper cars, with the point where you couldn't go up, you couldn't pick a car without buying navigation already inside of it.
Oh yeah, true. But I'm saying that it doesn't matter. Like to me, Google's announcement is fine. They didn't announce a partnership that made sense. They didn't announce somebody that said, hey, let's do it. Like I said, if you announce it with a Toyota, right, you have just killed it market-wise. Because then, remember, Ford is another big company who was using Microsoft Sync. I'm quietly using Microsoft for the longest time.
And how many people even have that?
You know,
how many people even have that? And they've had that out for, and they put that on a lot of models ranging up and down.
A lot of people had it. They
probably don't use it.
They did because they re-upped it again, and then finally they just switched to QNX. Because remember, Sync was going on for almost 5 years?
Longer than that.
Longer, yeah. They re-upped it. I actually remember when they re-upped Sync because it was doing so well. And then Microsoft just took away the name Sync, just called it Ford Sync, because Ford I think Ford wanted to get the name and keep it because it was doing so well that they had, people could do all these different things in the car, and they're like, oh, this is great, So I think that's why Google, I think, didn't take advantage of saying, go do a good partnership.
I agree with you, but I think my thing is that these things get announced, they get used, but they don't get used by the masses of numbers that I'd like to see them get used by, where it really becomes something. It just becomes the latest car tech that is cool. This small segment will get it, and everyone in that small segment will like it, and then they'll move on to the next thing after that.
Yeah, but that's just a car. It's just a car industry. There's just no way around it.
But my thing is, like, this is a waste of time. What money you're making? What money? God, I love to know what money they're making off of this.
Android Auto seems like a product of Google. Like Google, the way it does, it's like apps and its programs is pretty much there's no cubicles, there's no nothing. They just have teams that make up ideas and then they make them. This seemed like a very Android Auto type of team thing where they just had a group of people come like, we need a car software, make it, and they made it, and there's really no business behind it yet. They're just showing that they have something to make.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. But think about the other aspect for Google, right? What does Google like? What does Google want?
They want
information, right? Mm-hmm. Android in your car means everywhere you drive, everywhere you go is now properly recorded. Not just because it's your car, it's your own car. It's not somebody else's car. You're not taking a bus, you're not taking a taxi or whatever.
You're getting you're getting a 10,000 footprint of that because it's limited to new cars or limited to a certain segment.
Yeah, I mean,
if they had a dongle or anything else outside where it became open to the mass.
But that's the thing. What I'm saying is that they can't have a dongle. They will not. They will never have a dongle because they're dealing with another industry.
Then there's no point in ever announcing anything about any of these auto things and try to get excited about it. It's like the next fluff. Bye. See you later.
I don't think it's fluff. I think what it is
it's a lot of fluff because the same thing. I hear the same narrative over and over and over and over and over and over.
No, but dude, what narrative? See, the narrative you're talking about is Apple announced it once. And Apple has been gaining traction.
But Nokia announced it once. But I'm not the only company that's been saying this. It's nice that Apple and Google are the big ones now saying things, but they're not the only company to come out and say and offer these type of things. It's been going on for a long time, and it's just
it has been, but to me, the narrative from every different almost companies have been different. What Nokia announced was maps. They provide the maps for 10 car companies, which means that their footprint, the math was actually, the amount of cars they actually put it in was almost close to 500 million cars. So for them, that is good business, and that's actually good. that okay, you have reliable
Yeah,
maps in
but
cars,
the thing, the
and
thing
then
is,
and then
they're offering data and maps
oh no,
inside
no, no,
the
but I
car.
say that
They're
that's
not
I'm saying
offering a full, complete
no,
solution.
I know, but I'm saying that's what Nokia is doing. Microsoft did Ford Sync, and it did well enough that Ford continued it, bought the name over even after the partnership with Microsoft ended, and went to another partner, QNX, to actually build the same system for them. So I'm just saying that that's just one car manufacturer just doing it. So that's why Google looked at it and said, "Hey, there's something here, especially us who likes to get information, right? So we have to do this." The problem here is they did the announcement the wrong way. They didn't get a partner. They didn't get somebody to tie it in with to say, "Hey, I am with VW, Volkswagen, and I'm with Toyota," which is half of the guys who make common cars for people on a regular basis. And then if they said we can go retrofit 2013 and 2012 models with this, then you now have a bigger kicker. But they didn't even do any. I'm just saying that they didn't partner. If you partnered, right, then you can not try and talk to your partner and say, hey, what would it take for me to go and retrofit 2012 cars for your customers?
If they could figure out a way to make something retrofitted for the last 3 to 5 years among cars, then there's something there. Then they have something there.
Yeah, but to
But
to retrofit it, how do you do it? You have to partner with them so that people can come back and go to a service station for them to
oh
update
yeah,
the
yeah,
software.
yeah, no, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Obviously, update the software and add those things, but it still goes on the fact that they just want to keep it on one brand new car and expect everybody to jump into that whole thing and buy a new car for it. It's not going to be an incentive. It's not going to be the biggest incentive for people for someone to change the car unless they were already looking to buy the car to begin with. Then
Oh yeah,
now
it
it
never.
becomes that.
Look, you're buying a car. You never buy a car for navigation. You never
Nah,
buy a car for audio. You
yeah,
buy a car when you sit down, you drive, you go, this is my car. That's it.
basically.
That's it. Even women who go there, oh, it's pretty enough. When they now drive it, you go, oh, it's too big, it's too small, it's too fast, it's too. And you find the right car, you go, oh, I like this one.
That's the
That's
truth.
it.
The gas mile, all those little stats mean absolutely nothing. They get in the drive and see how it feels. And if this is
Feels
the one,
and
it can
that's
have
it.
the crappiest gas mileage on it possible. They'll go buy that car because they feel good being in that car.
So I
But
mean, yeah. So anyway, moving on from Android TV, Google made some other announcements like Google Drive is now $10 unlimited monthly.
for business specifically, I think
Google
they said
business. That's to counteract Microsoft. How much is the business OneDrive?
it's with Office 365, it's 1 terabyte, and it's like what, $6.99 a month or something like that.
Yeah, something. So yeah, I believe yeah, $6.99. So 1 terabyte and unlimited. I guess Microsoft may counter, but at 1 terabyte, it all depends what your business is using. So it's been Google being reactionary, but we've chimed up for quite a while. I just want to get everyone's like final thoughts on Google I/O's announcements today. I'll start off with Alex. Alex, what do you think about the whole announcement as a whole from Android TV? Oh, before that, we even talk about Android Wear. So thoughts quickly before we round up. Yeah, what do you think, Alex?
Samsung Gear Live, that's just Samsung making another device because they can. So there's really no interest there. The LG G Watch, I mean, it's coming. You can pre-order it now. So, I mean, it's probably going to be between the G Watch and the Moto 360. It's disappointing to say that they said summertime, so you really can't get any hands on time. But that means that Motorola is actually working hard on it. It might be like a really good competitor towards the upcoming iWatch. So that's good. Using it, some of the things that they show, like recipes, how you can set the timer in, like on the watch, those just make sense. So those are practical uses for the watch. I thought they were just going to show like nice UX, smooth transitions, but they actually show things that actually might improve your life or your productivity. So that's good to see from Google on that point. But nothing really that we haven't seen before. We've seen SDKs about it. So
I think we finally have I think they finally have it's finally an operating system for wearables, and that's what Google has kind of provided here, and they're jumping on ahead of everyone with. So we're seeing the first versions of that, but it's not nothing new we see now, but we gotta wait a little while, probably a year from now, when we start to really see it make a jump and start to really see Android Wear paired with with different types of wearables and paired with different types of devices before we see the real benefits. But it is exciting because there's finally an operating system specifically made for wearable technology. That's something that Apple and Microsoft don't have right now.
Okay. All right, cool. So your final thoughts on just what Google I/O announcements today. What do you think? How would you grade it, Alex? Between like from an A down to F type
I
thing.
I give it like a C plus. I read an article saying that it was an hour shorter from last year, so it definitely wasn't jam packed with features and information.
It was still 2 hours though.
That's what I'm saying. Like Google usually goes all out for these things. You wait a year for it, so show us what you've been working on for a year. And they really didn't show me anything that was amazing. They piqued my interest. I guess I'll say that. So that's about it. But there was nothing really game changing. So I'll give it a C plus.
How about you, Warren?
I don't know. I got to give it an incomplete because they didn't announce anything that was complete. They just announced a whole bunch of betas and previews and what we're gonna do and what we can do. This is very developer-heavy announcements, which is actually a little bit different from times that they kind of always had something very consumer ready to go outside of the couple of watches you can pre-order right now in Android Wear, which is really the most finished thing. But we already kind of knew about all of that long before. There wasn't that big. Here's a Nexus available here, and this is this. Come with this, you know. They didn't really have that. It was just a whole bunch of incomplete things. So I have to give it an incomplete. It's cool. It's something that's interesting. It's gonna take time for when these things finally roll out to see what they're gonna be. But right now, it's just like it was just a developer conference talking about stuff for developers.
Okay. I'll have to give it a C also. There was nothing that wowed me enough to take me away from the game I was watching, so I think that to me that was just evident there. Android L is it's interesting, but again, like you said, Warren, it's too early to even put anything on that. The wearables we already knew, and the other things they mentioned were I'd say it was still light in my view, still good but light. One of the things I missed was the fact that they mentioned Android. Remember the rumored Android One program? Or
Yeah,
yeah, basically that's for low end devices,
yeah.
and that's going to be launching in India, I think, in the next couple of months or so. So that's something. At least they're trying to really tackle that low end market that they're not making. They should be making more penetration on, but they're really not as much. So I'll give it a C.
Did they go to Africa and like Facebook did?
No, they didn't. They didn't. But I mean, that was actually to me that was good by Facebook to say, okay, look, let's experience how people use it here because they have proper data limits, not say they do and go, okay, we need to change it, which helps us anyway,
Yeah.
in terms of the way they handle stuff. So I mean, we'll see how it works. We have a couple of comments here. Charles Akana says, LG G Watch, Samsung Moto 360. I know you will probably review them all. Are you excited for these Android wears? Watching IO Keynote has me excited about these accessories, such as when I'm in a place like Taipei, I can navigate the city without my phone. Um, I used to be excited for wearables. I'm kind of like down on wearables now, me personally, just because I just pop out my phone. I don't look at my watch to do all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, unless you can, unless like like Warren said, if you can beam me up, Scotty, yeah, sure, I'll take it.
Like, teleport me to command center.
Yeah, I'll be
Something
there.
like that. I've really been on that stance about that for the longest time, and I'm still on that stance about wearables. About your damn phone. I mean, really.
How about you, Alex?
Fitness bands, baby. Beyond that,
Well, the Galaxy Gear 2 really just killed it for me. So until I get my hands on an Android Wear Watch, wearables really aren't anything that I'm really interested in right now.
Yeah, I mean the
from
only
a
thing
sport aspect is where I'm more interested in them in for fitness and sport than I am for just everyday common things. I'd rather see them in that field of fitness and sports and
I
health more so than other
I would
stuff.
agree. I will say that I am excited for the Moto 360 more because of the look, not actually because of Android Wear. I mean, just combination of how well it will work as a round face and all that, more than the actual. Oh, I want a smart
When it comes out
watch.
$399,
Yeah, exactly. So
$399 watch.
So we'll see how that plays in, and then we have one more from Lou Rod who says, "What is up with the cardboard they gave out?" So they gave out this cardboard that you can fold together, put your smartphone, and turn into a VR helmet, pretty much. A cheap way of becoming Oculus Rift, I guess.
Google Glass. Which did they make any mention anything about that today?
Yeah, I'll send you guys a link. It was I saw it on Engadget.
Yeah, they upgraded everything from the processor to the battery life to the software, but anyone who's already bought one, they're pretty much screwed. They're not letting you upgrade or through a process. It's still the
Is it
same
still,
price.
No, so
is it
so
still it's still an invite and you got to spend $1,500?
Well, I don't think it's invite anymore. I think you can just buy it out, but it's still the same price and it's just upgraded like specs, minor upgrades.
So $1,500,
so you
right?
oh so if you're a previous owner, you can't
Yeah,
swap out.
yeah. There's no way of upgrading.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way we're getting the hard.
It's still $1,500, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still $1,500.
For a beta. Let
Yeah,
that sink in. Remember the last beta you bought? It's called Google TV.
oh
I'll do
God.
that again.
Let's not go there. Let's not go to that pain and suffering of Google TV. But I mean, it's interesting that they made all these announcements. Android L comes out tomorrow, developer preview. So we'll see if we can take a look at that and see how well it functions and all that fun stuff. Maybe brick a phone or two in the process.
How you make fun of me is so upsetting.
Actually, I wasn't, but I'm just talking about me trying to do it tomorrow and
Yeah, I
probably
break my phone doing that stuff. So yeah.
probably break my Nexus 5, and be like, it's dead, it's completely dead, it's out the way. So yeah, I mean, interesting altogether. Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining in. I really appreciate it. Rod was about to join us, but we're wrapping up here, so. Unless, of course, you want to wait for him, and then he can give us his thoughts as an iOS user on what he sees here. But everyone's kind of like,
Very long day. Very long day.
yeah. All right, we'll end it. We'll end it. So again, anyway, thank you very much. Thank you, Warren, for joining. Check him out at bw1.com. That is his channel on
Only
YouTube.
one with a lower third today.
Yeah, that is very true. That's him on BW1. Check him out. Check out all his stuff, his videos. Check out bw1.com, also the website, and also follow him on Twitter. And yeah, that's me, no lower third. Yeah, sport at work. It's Thunder E. You know the deal. There we go. It's there. Follow the channel, and also follow Alex on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle? Can you please tell them again?
Lex Moniyi.
All right, that is Alex's Twitter handle. And we're good, guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, and always enjoy entertainment.
All right, guys, I gotta go take some painkillers or something, so I'll talk to you later.